Hi, this is Joe again with another review. And to continue my review of the Die Hard movie series, I'm going to be discussing, for this video, I'm going to be discussing the third film in that series, which came out in 1995, 5 years after Die Hard 2 came out, which has been titled Die Hard With A Vengeance. So I have, of course, Bruce Willis and Jeremy Irons as the villain. But this particular film was actually based on an original story. Was really supposed to be a movie called Simon Says, where a guy named Simon is trying to call the cops to do various errands, and they do that film and they use that script for this particular film because between Die Hard 2 and Die Hard 3, there were a lot of Die Hard ripoffs. Like I mentioned in my first review of the first film, there were so many movies that ripped off the same Die Hard premise, with a guy who was all by himself, got stuck battling it out with a bunch of terrorists or criminals in a closed setting. And you have it with Under Siege. Under Siege 2 also came out the same year as Die Hard 3 in 1995. You also had Speed, which came out in 1994, which is like Die Hard on a bus. You also had Passenger 57, starring Wesley Snipes. With Die Hard on an airplane, which is ironic because Die Hard 2 was based in an airport. And you also had Speed 2, it was on a cruise ship. I mean, you had, and of course, Cliffhanger was Stallone, where there's a mountain climber on a bunch of criminals on a mountaintop. And Stallone got stuck in there fighting this guy on a mountaintop. So you had so many of those rip-offs, and originally Die Hard 3 was supposed to take place on either on a cruise ship, as Speed 2 was, or Under Siege type script. So they used the Simon Says script for this particular film. And this one, only Bruce Willis came back, or his character, John McClane, came back to do this film. Nobody else from the Die Hard universe came back. No Rachel Von Johnson, because I think he was too busy doing his TV show, Family Matters, so he was not there. Brian Bedelia was not there. The wife is mentioned in the film, but you don't physically see her in the film, or the two kids. Or William Atherton was not there either, so he was running out of the series after the second one. So you don't, and he wasn't even mentioned in the report. The announcing reporter was not even mentioned in the third film. So you just have Bruce Willis by himself back in New York. What he means back in New York is because in the second film he transferred to the LAPD to be closer to his wife and work in LA, because they reunited, of course, in the end of the first movie. So this time John McClane and Holly were separated, and now he's back working in the NYPD now. He's drunk as a skunk. He was on suspension, and it's not clear why he was on suspension. It just mention that he was on suspension, and that's it. Of course, this movie starts off, instead of being in the first, which I didn't mention in my Die Hard 2 review, was that one also took place during Christmas week, which, of course, a lot of people complain, it's doing it all over again. Well, they cut all that stuff out in the third film, because the third film took place during the summer, it was called Indian summer, because you had the song "Summer in the City." So if it's supposed to be during the summer, how come there were schools open, as if it's summer school or something? But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself as usual. This movie starts off with the song "Summer in the City," and a department store, or fictionally named department store, gets blown up, and that's when Simon, who was played by Jeremy Irons, calls the NYPD, or the Major Crime Squad, and Inspector Cobb. I forgot I'm playing Inspector Cobb, but he was very good in the role. And also for you fans of the Oscar-winning film Dancing with Wolves, you can also look for Graham Greene in this movie as well, playing another cop in this film. He gets a call, and he wants John McClane to do these little errands. And he says, "Why McClane?" He said, "I don't care. I want McClane to do this thing." And of course they get McClane, and of course he's drunk. He has hungover. He's always asking for acid for the whole movie, and it's like he's all burned out at this point from his previous adventures in the films. So he tells Inspector Carr, was it Walter? He said, Walter, mind your own damn business about Holly, okay? Because he got annoyed with that. He's asking about Holly. He's calling, contact her, and meanwhile he goes. The first errand he sent to, which I should mention, he goes to Harlem, and he wears a sign. This is one of the more controversial things about this movie. There's actually two things I should mention. I should mention this scene. The first errand when you see John McClane go on was he goes to Harlem and he wears a big billboard sign that says "I hate niggers" on, which it's big controversial thing. And naturally, of course, blacks and the people like Al Sharpton make protesting this film. But the other thing that I should mention, there was a huge stake with Die Hard 3, because exactly 1 month before Die Hard 3 came out, which was on April 19th, 1995, for those of you who don't know what that date is, or right around then, that was the date of the Oklahoma City bombing, when two homegrown terrorists, really, probably one of those underground militia guys, Timothy McVeigh, blew up the federal building in Oklahoma City. And exactly 1 month later, on May 19th, 1995, that was when Die Hard with a Vengeance came out. So when it came out, and when the plot was revealed, it was about a mad bomber, played by Jeremy Irons, people were making a sting that's totally insensitive because of what happened with Oklahoma City. But meanwhile, the movie was actually filmed in 1994 for this 1995 release. So Bruce Willis came out with that statement. Hey, this movie was filmed a year ago. And people knew this movie was coming out now in 1995. So people should have made a stink a month ago. This movie's coming out now instead of waiting until this movie came out. So there's no on time. Obviously it was bad timing. Well, bad timing while I'm out for this thing. So back to the plot. Bruce Willis is actually trying to figure out who this Simon is, and meanwhile, while he was up in Harlem with this "I hate niggers" sign, Samuel L. Jackson, two nephews, saw this guy and pointed him out and said, "Hey, uncle, take a look at this." And Samuel L. Jackson, who was a very hot actor at that time in the 90s, he was in just about every other movie in that time. Of course, Jurassic Park, the movie Pulp Fiction, you name it, he was in it. And of course, now he's in Die Hard 3, sees this, and he talks to Bruce Willis, and Bruce Willis identified himself as a cop. And said, look, I have to, the same guy who blew up the department store said I have to do this thing, otherwise it's going to blow up something else. So, he identified himself as a cop. So, then of course there's a bunch of like gangbangers who were about to kill Bruce Willis for wearing the "I hate niggers" sign, and Samuel L. Jackson's character, named Zeus, saves his ass. And of course now, since that happened, now Jeremy Irons' character, which you don't see till about halfway through physically see him till about halfway through the film, says, okay, now I want Samuel L. Jackson to go along with McClane on these little trips. Now you go to the 72nd Street Broadway subway station, and then you have to go down to Wall Street to stop a bomb. And so if you stop the bomb, you have to get there in a half hour, and if you don't, it'll blow up the train up. But meanwhile, Jimmy Irons blows up the train anyway, which was the most dramatic. It was until the end of the movie, it was really the last real big bombing sequence you're going to see. You know, there were bombs. A bomb in a park, a Tompkins Square Park in Alphabet City in Manhattan, but nothing really gets blown up again until the end of the film. So you have really three major bombing scenes: the opening sequence, you had the train bombing, and then you had the end of the movie when the ship blows up at the end of the film. Spoiler. those weren't really really bombing sequences, even though the bombs in the park. But those three were the only ones that actually got blown up. Three things actually got blown up in this film. So all the people were complaining about the bombings because of the Oklahoma City bombing a month earlier. It really was like over the top stuff. So anyway, after that bombing went off in the subway, it was to set a hole in the wall so that Jimmy Iron's gang or Simon's gang could go into the vault where the U.S. Gold Bullion is stored and steals billions of dollars, literally billions of dollars in gold bullion. It's always kind of like a variation of the plot in Goldfinger, but this time they actually steal the gold. Not in James Bond film Goldfinger, where they don't steal the gold in Fort Knox. And they do have a Fort Knox reference. And of course, after the subway bombing, then they find out from the FBI and the CIA who the Simon is, and he happened to be the brother of the Hans Gruber character from the first film. He is Hans Gruber's brother. That's who it is. Who the Simon character is. And he goes, oh shit. And then of course he had to tell Samuel L. Jackson, because when he went to Tompkins Square Park to get the bomb in Tompkins Square Park, Bruce Willis tells him who was this LA deal. And he said, well, what happened was it was in LA when you were my wife, and went to a Christmas party, and he threw Simon's little brother out of the 30th floor window in the Nakatomi building in LA. So he said, well, this thing because you killed some white racist motherfucker, you know all that stuff. And I go, yeah. So they had to show off the bomb in Tompkins Square Park bomb, and then they figure out. Then Bruce Willis figures out why Jeremy Irons set the next bomb in a school. And said because the Wall Street area had no schools. So he got all the cops out to look for this bomb and to search all the schools in the New York City area. And it says, anyway, he diverted all the cops because they know figure out that Simon's doing something around here. So he happens to go into the same building where they blew the hole in for the vault to get the gold. And that's when he figured out they stole this gold. And one of the other cops, Ricky, was killed by one of Simon's goons. And of course there was a little devastating there. Then after he figured out what Simon's plan was, it was not revenge against me. It was just a bonus for what Simon really wanted to do, and that's steal all this gold. And that's what Simon did, basically. So that's what he did. So of course he found out all these dump trucks, and then 14 dump trucks were stolen. So he figured out, Bruce Willis figured out that Simon's gang stole those 14 dump trucks, and he followed the dump trucks. And meanwhile, they go up to Samuel L. Jackson's character goes up to Yankee Stadium, and that's where Simon had a sniper there to kill the two guys, to kill John McClane and Zeus. But since only one of them showed up, he says, forget it. And Simon's guy says, don't kill him because there's only one of them, and not both of them. And that's when they're supposed to end the game with both of them being killed. And there's one misdirection in that particular scene because it says to the home field dugout in Yankee Stadium. Meanwhile, where Samuel Jackson was actually the visitors dugout in Yankee Stadium. So it's kind of like a little thing. And the thing was, how the hell did Sam Jackson get into Yankee Stadium? I mean, there's always one of those things that's totally unexplainable. There's always things that's totally unexplainable in these Die Hard movies. And like, how the hell did two of Simon's guys get into Yankee Stadium to begin with, and how did Zeus get into Yankee Stadium? because he's not a cop. He's not a member of the FBI to check something out in Yankee Stadium. How did he get in there? So that's the one problem that I have with it. So Samuel Jackson does get followed, and they had a big shootout on the Cross Bronx. I think it was like Cross Bronx Expressway, and yet that's where you had one of the big. Because you didn't really have all the main big shootouts in Die Hard 3. I mean, you didn't have action in this film. I'm not saying you don't have any action in it. It's just that you don't have, because it could be because of the first two films, so much action and shootouts in the first two Die Hard films. They didn't do that in this one. And I mean, the shootouts really died out. And this one, and the third film, and of course also the fourth one, which I get to on another video on another day. That the shootouts have gone down as the movies have gone down. Or I should say, as the movie series goes on, the shootouts have gone down quite a bit. And then you had when they got on the ship, when John McClane and Zeus got on the ship, it was kind of like a little silly. They attached a lot to the cargo, this big cargo ship, and they go down on the rope. That was kind of silly, but that's what they decided to do, and it was really ridiculous, really over the top silly. But they got on the ship and they found out one of the other guys, Simon's guys, found out there was no gold in the containers. So one of the other guys, like an explosions expert, says, "Where's the gold?" After he had a big fight, he did get caught by Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis catch him. They did have a big fist fight scene, and that was a pretty good fight scene, but it's not as good as the other ones in the previous films, in my opinion. But they had a big good fight scene, and when the guy that Bruce Willis was fighting comes up and confronts Simon, and says, "Where's the gold?" And the girlfriend kills not Simon but this other guy, who was in part of the explosive experts guy, who was the one who sent all who made up all these bombs. And then they found out that the bomb was actually on the ship. It was going to pretend he was blowing up the gold. Meanwhile, the gold was never even on the ship. He says it's kind of like a bit with Hans Gruber did in the first film. You gotta pretend, you gotta fake out the FBI, and because they will find you if you steal $600 million, unless they think you already did. And that's what you're trying to do with, all the law enforcement agencies in the United States is trying to make them pretend that you did, and trying to fake them out, trying to imply that you died on the ship. And you blew up the gold on the ship, and then you died along with the gold. So that you can escape and you can have all the gold, and you don't have to worry about people hunting you like the FBI and CIA hunting you down, or some other agency in a foreign country will hunt you down because they think you're dead. Well, I'm not dead. Here's all the gold. So you had all that stuff, and when you had the fake bomb in the school. And when you had the bomb on the ship, that's when you had a real big explosion on the whatever material that Simon had to make these bombs, his chemicals to make these bombs. He used it for the subway bombing. He used it a little bit of the bombing in the park. There was another bomb that was found in Chinatown, which didn't go off. And of course, he had the bombing in the department store, so he had 4 bombs. The bomb in the department store, the bomb in the park, the bomb that was found in Chinatown, and of course the bomb on the ship. Those were really the 4 bombs, and the main part of the chemicals were used on the bomb on the ship. And there was a fake bomb in the school, which was found. And of course, they found out it was really silly. How they found where the guys are. It was just over the border in Canada. That's where Simon's guys were with all the gold. And he had this big shootout with them with Simon on the helicopter, and the girl in the helicopter, and of course, Bruce Willis says, "Say hello to your brother." He shoots an electric power line, which was attached to the helicopter the Simon was on, and it ends up blowing it up. And of course, in the end, says, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!" In the end, he should have said that line. They should have switched those two lines apart. He should have said the line, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," before he shut the electric power line. And then when the helicopter blows up, it says, "Say hi to your brother." But that's my one complaint, because you gotta have the Yippee-ki-yay line in every Die Hard movie. But as this movie was, I think it was a good movie. At first, I didn't really like it at first, but the more times I watched it, the more I liked it. I have a funny story. When I went to see it, on the first day it was out, I went to see a local movie theater in Queens, New York, and there was a line. There was people online for the next show, or the next showing, and this one guy says, "How's the movie? How's the movie?" to me. And well, being the smart ass that I am, I said, "The movie stinks. The movie stinks. Save your money. Save your money." So I kind of like, my father. I went to the movie with my father. He was like, "What?" So I explained to him what happened. He goes, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. The guy will kick your butt." I said, "Yeah, but it was funny. It was funny. They didn't know how to react." So he said, because they had to put in like Simon was Hans Gruber's brother, and they put that in. And I did like the line where you finally had on the cargo show where John McClane meets Simon, actually face to face, and John McClane says, "So your brother was an asshole." And he says, "Hey, yeah, you're right. He was an asshole." And he was, instead of beating the shit out of McClane for calling his brother an asshole, he said, "Yeah, yeah, you're right. He was an asshole. He got his number, huh?" I mean, it was kind of silly there. But it was, but the more times I watch this movie, the more I like. And I think of the sequels, I like Die Hard 2. Of course, I also like Die Hard 3. But of course, the next two Die Hard movies were terrible. And when I get into those movies, when I have a chance to do those films. So that's my review of Die Hard with a Vengeance. With a Vengeance. Please click on the video. Please feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my videos on my YouTube channel at rowdyc.com. That's OWDY. C.com. There's a homepage of the Rowdy Reviewer. Chris Lee Moore. And please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.